We were just talking about the issue here with Osama bin Laden. On the line, we have right now a good friend of mine, honored to have him on, actually. A great friend, loyal to the show, a Pittsburgh guy through and through. My friend, General Mike Hayden, on the line. Hey, Mike, how you doing, General?
Hey, Jim, I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Always great to talk to you. How about you thanks for taking some time out. I know you've been getting pulled in every direction, man. Every time I turn the TV on yesterday, you're on it, so that's good.
Yeah, no, it was a good day. CIA gets in the news a lot, but it's rarely when we do the good things we usually do, they generally aren't public. So yesterday was a special day.
Yeah, it really was. Hey, General, what's the biggest positive for us, for the United States? I mean, we're saying how we're celebrating because of bin Laden being that face of terror. He's gone. Yesterday, we're celebrating that yesterday. What's the biggest positive for us in the United States?
Jim, the one thing you just mentioned isn't trivial. I mean, the American people deserve a sense of justice here, and they got it delivered yesterday, just like President Bush said it would be. So that's one. Second, these guys aren't supermen, and we proved to them yesterday that we can be very patient and very persistent and very precise. If I'm a terrorist anywhere in the world today, I'm not sleeping as easy as I did on Saturday night.
That's true. And, I've been reading how the Courier was one of the people that gave up the information. And I was watching on CNN, actually, last night, General, how you were one of the people, under your program, you started the Courier program, right, to get this intelligence.
What happened was some of the folks we had in our custody. Well, Jim, here's how it was. We're back in 06, 07 when I was director. We had a cell called the UBL cell, and all they did was chase this guy. So this has been a focus for 10 years, and obviously we had a lot of dry holes. And they came to me with the idea about in 07 that the guy doesn't communicate electronically. He's got to be doing all this by human contact via courier. Tracking the couriers may be the best way we have. As hard as that's going to be, tracking the couriers may be the best way we have of finding him. So we went back into our database, and a couple of folks that had been in our custody in the CIA black sites had talked a little bit and given us, not perfect, not complete, but some identifying data on who the couriers might be. We started from that and began to build out in 07. Now, keep in mind, Jim, what this is looking like. We're not chasing UBL now. We're chasing the couriers. So you never know how close you're getting to UBL because you're going after these guys, and you can't pivot off of them to go to UBL until you find out who they are. And it looks as if the agency got really good knowledge about them, and most importantly, where one of them lived last summer.
Okay.
And then after that, you begin to perfect the information. You look at the site and say, man, that is not a usual compound in that part of Pakistan. And then finally you make a decision to take an action.
Give us just quickly, what would the sequence have been? Would it have been like somebody from the CIA, one of our guys, would have said, hey, man, I just got a phone call from someone, or I just intercepted a call, and he's at this house? How does that work?
Well, I would suspect that all the elements, all the disciplines of intelligence played a role here. Signals intelligence, like you're suggesting, imagery, and so on. But fundamentally, this was a human intelligence story. And Jimmy, the way you just described it, that's kind of that eureka moment. You got a breakthrough, and it's aha. And frankly, I don't think we had one on this. This is one where this was built one tiny brick at a time until they got to a point where they began to have confidence this may be where this guy is. So this is actually going to probably be studied in later years is that classic intelligence success that didn't have the aha or breakthrough moment, just almost one grain of sand at a time to get you there.
General Hayden, what was the first thought that went through your mind when you heard that he had been killed?
Well, I mean, we had been coming back from a weekend trip, saw the announcement the president was going to be speaking late on a Sunday night. My wife asked me, I wonder what that's about, and my immediate response was, that can only be one thing. And it turned out that's what it was. Satisfaction, pride in both the men of the intel community and the armed forces that made it happen. I had a thought or two about both President Obama, who made a tough and risky decision to go with this, because, there's about one way this could go right and about 100 it could go wrong. And then a thought about President Bush. I briefed him every week on a Thursday morning about CIA operations around the world. And as a matter of routine, it's a course of 3 years, as a matter of routine, as I would go in there, he would very often say to me, "Mike, where are we?" And I knew exactly what he meant. So I know that he had focus on this target, and also I know he's taken satisfaction that we got him because of work that was started under him and then completed by the team under his successor.
Mike, should they release the photos soon? Because you know how it is, General. There's always conspiracy theorists out there and people, saying, "Did we get him?" Are they going to release them soon? Do you think?
I don't know. And Jimmy, as satisfying as that would be, it's a little.
It's risky,
some limits on it. There's some laws of armed conflict about using photos to exploit and so on. I actually think Al Qaeda is going to make this easier for us. Al Qaeda is going to want to make him a martyr, and you can't make him a martyr until you admit that he's dead. And so I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of people out there seriously doubting. One of the things that struck me, and I must admit my data may be incomplete, but I've looked pretty carefully. There has not been much of a reaction to this, certainly not much of a negative reaction to this in the Arab world.
I thought that same thing too.
Yeah. And look, I think I may have said this last night on one of the networks. If I'm an Al Qaeda planner, it hasn't been a real good 2011. You just lost the big guy, and prior to that, you had a bunch of revolutions sweeping the Arab world over which you had no control and in which you played no part.
Yeah. It has been just a great victory for the United States, and you could see the celebration, jubilation on everyone, huh, General? It's been great.
It is, but let me just offer one additional thought. Okay, This isn't over. I think I may have said something that betrayed my Pittsburgh roots yesterday when I said this is not the time to spike the football and do one of those silly dances in the end zone. There is a lot of time on the clock here. Al Qaeda, Jim, as you know, isn't a hierarchy; it's a network. Losing him is a big deal, but a network survives because power and decision making is already diffused throughout that network. So these guys, this hurts them. But they're still in the game. I mean, it's a little bit like Kevin coming after the last Super Bowl win. He celebrates, drinks that glass of champagne, comes out of the stadium, and says, "Man, I'm going to be drafting 32." I mean, you got to celebrate for a bit, but then you got to turn your mind to the work at hand. And I'm sure that's what the folks at the agency are doing.
Well, it's a reminder we're in great hands, General, from your work and the current work of everybody involved. CIA and the Special Forces and the SEALs and the FBI and all the great government agencies we have. Really, we're in great hands. Let's say that.
Well, thanks very much, and thanks for letting me chat a little bit with the neighbors to let them know how things are going here.
We always love talking to each other. Thanks so much for taking some time out. And hey, I owe you a pirate game. All right, whenever you get in, we're doing well.
I'll take you up. We're coming up to running the half marathon. So see you then.
All right, Mike, you got it. We'll go to the game. But hey, General Mike Hayden, thank you so much, man. I know how busy you are.